Well, you look like you're kind of chilly back there. I do like your decor behind you. I'm trying to figure out what. Oh, it's one of the bookshelves. Okay.
It's two of the bookshelves put together.
Oh, you put them both together?
Dad put them both
Very.
together. I could not move them again, so that's where they
Kind of like you
stayed.
can't find the cat food either. So yeah.
It's somewhere in that fucking mess over there. I don't know where it's at. I think it's like dead center in there. I think I saw it when I was setting off my bug bombs the other day, which, by the fucking way,
Well, you got. Wait a minute. You got to roll back because most people don't know what the hell you are talking about.
let's roll back to like
3
last
days ago.
week, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. I'm
Not
sitting
even,
in
you
here.
just-
I just got into the garage, but I got into the garage when they left, so it was about 4 days ago.
yeah.
I'm sitting in here. I'm like, it's fucking freezing in here, Mr. Bigglesworth, because there's insulation, but there's no heating system. So I went down to the store. I got myself a little space heater. I was all excited about it. And as I'm sitting here, I look over to my right, and there is a quarter-sized wolf spider. And I go, you don't pay rent. Let's try to get you out of here. I'm not a huge arachnophobe. I'm really not. So I try to, like, ease this bitch out of the garage, and he charges at me. I'm like, well, that was the wrong decision. Here we go. War's on. So I stomp on him. I'm like, wipe my boot against the plastic floor that's still in here. And I come walking back over to my desk, and about 10 minutes later, I look to my right again, and there's two of them now. I'm like, oh, good. I killed your friend, and now you're coming after me. So
He sent in his reinforcements.
I'm like, I take care of both of them. And then I leave for the evening. I'm like, I went and grabbed the peppermint oil from my goddamn like overnight bag, and I like splattered it all over my freaking desk. I'm like, please do not touch my things. So I come walking back in here the following day. There's two of them by the door, and then there's another two by the back garage. I'm like, oh my God, are you fucking shitting my dick right now? I'm not built for this. So I'm like, kill all of them. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, okay, I got to think about what I need to do in like the next day or so. So I told my mom, I'm like, hey, the arachnophobe in our family, Mom, there are spiders fucking everywhere in here. At this point, I've killed about 10 of them. I'm just like, I'm
Take
fucking
care of that shit, man.
done
I don't
with
deal
it.
with spiders. Nope.
I'm like, I don't care about spiders all that much. I really don't. They don't bug me or anything. But I'm like, I'm kind of over it at this point because I'm like, I'm worried that I'm going to be gaming and then all of a sudden I'm going to look down and it's going to be Mrs. fucking like Sally Hootie Spider scene like, well, how you doing? And I'm just going to be like, what?
No. No. And I know the woods around there are freaking loaded with them because when we went there, what was it? We traveled there in July. And as we're driving basically through backwoods Arkansas, I'm like noticing that there are like fucking poofs in the trees. And we get close enough to one of them and I went, is that what I think it is? And Kay says, well, what do you think it is? And I'm like, is that a fucking spider nest up in that tree? She goes, I do believe so. I'm like, oh, we need to burn it with fire. We need to burn it with fire. We get onto our property and I'm seeing them dangle in there and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, God, no. So I contact my friend Matt and I'm like, we need a flamethrower that affixes to the bottom of our ARs because I've got some shit to do here. He took me serious. He went out and bought one for me. So we do have a flamethrower, but yeah, there are wolf spiders all over. On the plus side, they do eat ticks, which scare me more than spiders.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, pick your poison.
You pick your poisons. But anyway, I'm like, they picked their poison. And I went and got 3 bug bombs.
Yep.
And then 2 things, like 2-gallon jugs of the Orkin spray. To which I haven't sprayed the interior yet because I haven't gotten around to it with everything going on. And then it's like snowing and rainy today. I'm like, I don't want to walk around in my little pajamas fucking like spraying for fucking spiders. Nah, I don't want to do that. So I fucking came in here. I'm like, I read the directions like straight off, like as I'm walking to go set the first one off. The first one's off on the like other side where the house is going to be at. One's on the opposite side of my car, and one is literally back behind me on the table back behind my desk. I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm setting them off like it's fucking World War II. Like, kabam, here we go. Kabam, here we go. Kabam, here we go. And I left.
God. Then she calls me. She's like, I really want a game with my friends tonight. And I'm like, dude, you just set off 3 bug bombs in the garage. Don't think that's a wise thing to do.
Like fucking James contacts me at like 10 p.m. because we're nocturnal in this chat room. He contacts me at like 10 p.m. and he goes, "Hey, you want to be company gamers?" Which, if you guys aren't watching, go check out Kierex and HS Flamel over on Twitch. We've been live almost every single night this week. We're playing Lethal Company right now, which is like the biggest game that's going around right now. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
He's like, "You want to come be company workers?" I'm like, "Yeah, I could be a company worker. I could do that. That's not a big deal to me." I'm like, "Wait, I set off bug bombs. I can't go in there. I can't air it out." And he goes, "Katie, you set off bug bombs like 6 hours ago. It should be clear by now." I'm like, "But it might still be in there." He's like, "Hold on." So he goes and gets like this huge PDF file of how long you have to wait without fucking airing out the garage or at home
me check
to
this
be
shit
able
out.
to come and do stuff. He's like, "Get in here. You're a company worker."
But the air is spicy, James.
He's like, "You're a smoker. What do you care? It's spicy all the time."
You live where it's kind of cold now. The air is trying to kill you. Why does it hurt to breathe? Oh,
Yeah.
lordy.
But yeah, no, I'm like, I ended up spraying all the way around the house. By the way, the side by, like, in front of me, north driveway, I think.
I don't
pretty
know, dude. I don't know
driveway
which way you're
side.
sitting. The pretty driveway. It's the north driveway, yeah.
The pretty driveway side. The mud on that side of the building, not quite stable yet.
God, did you eat shit in that one,
Oh,
too?
I ate fucking shit. I was like, "God damn it." And it doesn't help that I had like crows like in the trees because I've made friends. I've made friends by feeding the cats because they come and get the cat food too. I've made
You
friends
have the
with
method.
the crows.
You have a madness.
I have the madness. I have crows now. I swear to God, this fucking crow sitting in there going, laughing at me. I'm like,
Can you blame them?
oh my God damn it. I can't blame
Katie
them,
is
but I'm
not
like,
built
Jesus
for the
Christ.
country.
I'm having fun at least.
No, I know. She's like, I am not made for the country, but I love it here, but I need my mommy. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm headed down there shortly.
To
Don't
be
worry
fair,
about
you
it.
would have made me deal with the spiders anyway.
Oh, you know it, man. There's no way. Considering when we were driving to Arkansas and we saw this mass in the middle of the road, and I'm like, dude, what is that? Is that a dead bird or something? Kate's like, I'm not sure. Let me put my glasses on. Why she didn't have her glasses on? No idea. She starts looking at it, and I'm like, do we have big spiders in Arkansas? Because that looked like fucking legs. She's like, yeah, it did look like legs. Let me look. She's like, oh yeah, we have big tarantulas here. One of the largest in the United States. It's called the chocolate tarantula. I'm like, I don't fucking care if it's a flavor. I don't want it in my house. Yeah. God, no. I see one of them some bitches marching down the road. We're gonna drop kick that bitch back into the next county. Oh no.
But yes, that's currently been my life. Also, Dad learned his lesson from the last episode where we talked about Salem eating his quartz. He left that on the couch when he was still here, and I looked at him and I looked at Salem, and Salem like slithered down the side of the couch all sneaky like. I'm like, it's gonna happen.
One of these days, you just need to get some video of her doing some of her slithering shit so that you can put it out there and go, see, people, she's not really a cat.
Dude, she like melted to the side of the couch like and like slithered down like a goddamn cartoon character. Like fucking what is his name? Tom and Jerry. Tom.
Yeah, yep. Yep. Oh, Lord.
Oh my God. Well, right now
Yeah,
she's
he's-
asleep in the back room, so hopefully she stays that way. Because I don't think I put my
You
charger
hope she
away.
Oh, God, no. You're going to go in there and it's going to be Fiona'd.
Oh.
Oh, God. That cat is something else. And there's my good boy that just, like, really doesn't give two shits.
I did think about bringing her out here to kill the spiders, but I think she would have just been like, Mom!
That's just mean. No, that's where you get your turkey. Yeah, Katie's got a turkey coming here soon and some guinea hens.
2 chickens.
Two guinea hens that do the car alarm sound and a turkey that will, like, chase her probably.
Probably. For a little bit at least.
Probably. Yeah. Carl.
Carl! You're gonna be named Carl.
Oh, Lordy.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
well, anywho, what's
Anywho,
next? What's on the agenda?
well, we're going to talk about a missing persons case today that I think was actually one of the last cases I talked about on the previous podcast. So this is still newish information. I did go and look, and it doesn't appear that there's been any updates recently. However, if there are, you know where to contact me, spatteredpodcast@gmail.com, and I will do a corrections corner. But before we get started, while we understand that some individuals listen for the entertainment aspect of true crime, it's important to remember that these are real people with families and friends who may still be suffering from their loss. These stories are not meant to open old wounds or cause further emotional damage to those involved. We remind you, please be respectful and do not dox or contact those involved with cases. The case discussed in this podcast today may be disturbing to some listeners, and listener discretion is advised. As far as trigger warnings go today, I believe that we have a minor involved case.
Yeah, alrighty then.
Alrighty then. So, Sage Smith was born Deshad Smith, and she was known from an early age that she had struggled with acceptance of never really feeling like she was a boy. She came out as transgender female in her teenage years, and although some of her family wasn't exactly quick to accept the decision, they ultimately came around eventually. From what I could find out regarding Sage's personality via the Investigation Discovery Disappeared episode, Born This Way, Sage was a super charismatic, caring, and overall good person. She loved to dance and made YouTube videos regularly to show off those skills. Additionally, Sage didn't really seem to have a solid set of pronouns that they used, and just dressed and acted how they felt comfortable in the moment. Now, while some members of the family still refer to Sage as Deshad and her pronouns as he, him, we're going to be using Sage throughout this episode as her name, as well as she, her pronouns. There may be a few spots where people address Sage as he, him in quotes, but otherwise I will try to be using the she, her pronouns going forward. Additionally, other programs may refer to her as he, him if you are looking for further information.
Okie dokie.
So, according to Sage's mother, they all knew that she was gay when she was younger, and they were just waiting for her to be comfortable enough to come up to them and open up, telling her, hey, if there's something you need to tell me, I'm here and I will always love you. To which I can relate, since my brother and sister are both part of LGBTQ, and I myself am also in that line as well. And it's a little nerve-wracking coming and opening up to your parents because you're not really sure how they'll respond. But I mean, my mommy's right here, and she's always been loving and caring regardless.
Yeah, until you do something stupid.
Yeah, but that's not part of my sexuality.
That's true. This is true.
At least not yet.
Not yet. Wait, there's time. I haven't peaked yet.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I remember your response being to Keegan, and I think it was my response too, that we both went, oh, honey, I know.
Well, and I had a childhood friend that he contacted me actually while I was down in Arkansas, and I already knew. He's like, I don't know if you've known, but I came out. I'm gay. And I'm like, surprised not. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, come on, hun. I've known since we were little kids. There's just a certain something. It's like, no. Yeah.
So, Sage's grandmother, Lolita Smith, also known as Cookie, was one of the first persons that she came out to as being gay. And Lolita recalls how she simply looked at Sage and went, you're not telling me anything I don't already know, before hugging it out for a while. Now, Sage's father, Dean Smith, wasn't as accepting as first, and some hurtful things were said. It took a couple of weeks for them to finally start talking again and for Dean to eventually accept and understand Sage's sexuality. It was actually one of Dean's other children that gave him the reality check of, no matter what, always be happy with yourself first. It was something that he always told his children, and it was a powerful reminder that Dean needed to apologize with Sage about what had been said and make up.
Good for them.
While Sage's family was open and accepting of her being outwardly gay, there are people, as we know, that really don't accept that side of people, even if it's not causing them any harm. So, Sage's sisters, Rasha and Iana Langston, and mother Latasha Dennis, both recall an incident where Sage was simply trying to fit in with the other kids in the neighborhood and play some football, to which they urinated on her jersey.
Oh, what assholes.
Now, Sage did go through a tough time for a while. She lived with her mother for a bit, and her parents had divorced and ultimately ended up living with her grandmother for a little bit too, to which they became very close. However, at some point, Sage went back to live with her mom and ultimately ended up in foster care after that.
Good Lord, that was a jump.
Eventually, though, Sage was really starting to feel like herself and was beginning to even thrive in that. She came out on social media writing, "I am a girl now. Hashtag respect it. Hashtag authenticity." In June of 2011, Sage would be the first in her family to graduate from high school, and by March of 2012, she moved into her own apartment with two friends, Sharika Washington and Aubrey Carson.
Go girl.
She'd also started pursuing a career in her dream field, starting with cosmetology classes to become a professional hairdresser. It's November of 2012, and Thanksgiving is fast approaching, as a cold chill of autumn begins to welcome in winter's cold embrace in Charlottesville, Virginia. On November 19th, it was Sharika's 19th birthday, and a friend group celebrated at the apartment. At some point, a girl came bursting through the door, wanting to start a fight with one of Sage's friends. This fight converges outside, and everyone, including Sage, go out to watch this go down. At some point, a group of people in a car that presumably dropped this girl off come tumbling out, and a huge altercation ensues, resulting in Sage getting involved. Police respond to this disturbance at around 11:20 p.m., and a report is filed. Jamal Smith was the individual who ended up getting in the altercation with Sage that evening, and later that afternoon tweeted, "Been disrespected to the point of no return." Sharika had stayed out of the fight, and Sage had apparently gotten upset that her best friend didn't have her back in this. When Sharika left to go home for the Thanksgiving holiday, she remembers Sage's last words being, "I hate you."
Oh.
On November 20th of 2012, Sage called her father that day to congratulate him on his early release from jail and asked him for some money to go get her hair braided, before preparing to go out on a date that evening with a man she'd met online, getting herself dolled up and texting him several times during the day. At around 5:40 p.m., Sage woke up her roommate, Aubrey, to let her know that she was leaving and planned to be home later that evening after her date. The next morning, Aubrey wakes up to discover that Sage never came home. Immediately, she tries calling Sage's phone repeatedly, and it goes straight to voicemail every time. Now, this roommate, as well as multiple people in Sage's circle of friends and family, know that she's a social butterfly and always has her phone charged and on her. So this is immediately starting to raise some red flags.
I bet.
Aubrey calls a few friends and discovers that Kiara Morgan, Sage's stepsister, saw her the previous night on Main Street around a bus stop at 6:30 p.m. And she was on the phone with someone telling them that she'd be there in 5 minutes. Aubrey then calls Sage's grandmother to tell her that Sage hadn't come home, and in turn, Lolita alerted her son, Sage's father. At this point, the anxiety is starting to build and something doesn't feel right. It feels very wrong. They figured that Sage would for sure show up for Thanksgiving dinner the following day, as the family is super close and Sage wouldn't miss it for the world. But Sage didn't show, and she was officially reported missing on Thanksgiving Day.
I hate that shit.
Now, authorities immediately took the report and started questioning Sage's friends about if they'd been in contact with her. Meanwhile, Sage's father calls Sage's mother to deliver the news that their child is missing. At first, Latasha hides the news of Sage's disappearance from her sisters, Rasha and Iana. However, a post on social media quickly alerts them to what's going on before Latasha can. Iana recalls how broken and crazy the moment felt, stating, "This only happens on TV. How can this happen to us?" With the investigation now underway from the police department, there are some concerns that Sage's disappearance may have been a hate crime for her transgender status. During this time, too, transgender communities are fairly new, and there's not a lot of resources at police departments regarding how to handle someone being targeted because of their gender orientation.
True.
We know that Sage has been bullied and harassed many times before in her life for her gender orientation. And due to that, her friends are very adamant that she was very cautious, and if she could avoid it, she would never go anywhere alone. Investigators began trying to retrace Sage's steps for that night she was last seen. And at the same time, Sage's family is also starting their own investigation. The family guesses Sage's password, and they were able to access her phone records, to which they find a phone number with a out-of-state area code that's unfamiliar to everyone in the family. Dean recalls calling the number multiple times, and there's nothing. No answer, no voicemail box, absolutely nothing.
Wild.
Investigators did a grid search of the area that Sage was last seen on Main Street and nearby businesses to get any information or eyewitness accounts of Sage being in the area. Now, the first thing that you're probably going to ask is cameras, business cameras. But this is 2012. And officers...
that's not very predominant, yeah.
Yeah. Officers quickly discuss how there's only a couple businesses that actually have cameras in this area. After taking some time, Dean starts to take the investigation into the number a step further and posts the number on Facebook, asking anyone if they knew the number to talk to him, as they were the last person Sage had talked to. Within hours, Dean gets a response from a transgender friend of Sage's named Yemi Ortiz, telling Dean that the number belongs to a guy named Erik McFadden. According to Yemi, Erik had been dating Sage recently, but he wasn't out of the closet yet. In fact, Erik still had a girlfriend outside of Sage that doesn't even know that he's gay.
Hey.
Feeling desperate for answers regarding his child, Dean gets a photo of Erik from Yemi and posts it on the Facebook, asking anyone who knows this dude or where he is to please call him, since he was the last one seen with Sage.
Go dad.
Now, Dean doesn't share anything of what he's found out about Erik with the police, as he doesn't want the authorities to shut down his investigation. However, 2 days later, the police find out about Erik's involvement from a student at the University of Virginia who calls to report Erik missing. The female student, his girlfriend Esther, requests that the police do a welfare check on her boyfriend Erik, as she hadn't heard from him for over a day and his phone was going straight to voicemail. She's worried because she's not home, as she left to visit her family for the holidays. She, as well as investigators, know nothing of Dean's Facebook post made 2 days earlier. However, the police soon learn of Erik's relation to Sage's case when Yemi shows up at the department to talk to them about the secret affair Erik had been having with Sage, as well as Dean's Facebook post. Immediately, police start making missing persons posters and going public with the information regarding Erik's involvement and him being a person of interest in the case, quickly flooding the community with pictures and announcements that they'd like to talk to him. Unfortunately, though, it seems as though Erik has left town, as he hasn't been to work in the last 3 days, and his girlfriend hasn't heard from him either. This makes investigators suspicious as to why he could possibly be running. With the consent of Esther, the police enter her apartment she shared with Erik to search for DNA, fingerprints, and any possible blood, just any evidence that may point to Sage being in the apartment at some time. They also take a laptop that belonged to Erik in as evidence at the time. Now, there was a CVS receipt that was recovered from the apartment at this time too. It showed a purchase made on the 22nd of November, 2 days after Sage had gone missing. which would have been around the same time of day that his name, picture, and phone number were all put on Facebook.
Okay.
This definitely raises some questions of, is he running because he did something to Sage, or is he running because he's been outed on Facebook as being gay?
Yeah.
Surveillance footage was taken from the CVS, and it indicates what the receipt was showing, that he remained in town until the 22nd, 2 days after Sage had vanished. Sharika and Aubrey both interviewed in regards to their knowledge of Erik. And according to Sharika, she didn't know Erik, and Sage really didn't talk about him to her very much. Aubrey states that she had met Erik once on Main Street with Sage, but this encounter was brief. Once police got cell phone records from Sage's phone service, the records indicated that Erik was indeed the last person that Sage had spoken to that evening. On Tuesday, November 27th, 7 days after Sage's disappearance, the sheriff's department gets a call from an individual claiming to be Erik. Investigators immediately press him on his whereabouts and why he left, to which Erik tells them that he didn't leave because of Sage and that he was in New York City, as it was somewhere he'd always wanted to go. They also question his relationship with Sage, to which he admits that their relationship was sexual. Erik also divulges that the night Sage went missing, the two had plans to meet up at the Amtrak station on Main Street, but Sage never showed. Now, with this information, Erik agrees to meet with police and try to clear things up. And he tells him that he's going to be leaving by bus and he'd be there basically as soon as he can. However, he never shows up.
Well, of course not.
3 days later, suspicions intensify when Esther comes to the station with an email from Erik describing the events of what happened the night that Sage went missing. To which the story that he's given his girlfriend is doing a complete 180 from what he's told investigators.
Well, she's not aware of the fact that he's gay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's got to keep that on the DL.
Now, according to Erik in this email, he had never had sexual relations with Sage. In fact, Sage had been blackmailing him for money, with the threat of outing Erik for falsified sexual relations. After which, she'd agree to stop and receive her money from Erik and move on for a little bit, before coming back for more. Apparently, at one point, Erik said no, and Sage threatened to hurt Esther. The night Sage went missing, the two agreed to meet up to sort out the money issue, and they went for a walk. During the walk, the two are approached by a group of people, who he labeled as some of Sage's many enemies, and it's insinuated that maybe they attacked Sage and Erik just kept walking. Now, remember that this is an email from Erik, so it doesn't mean that any of this is 100% true. Now, in the police report, it's noted that based on how this email was written, Erik has no intention of returning to Charlottesville, Virginia. Now warrants are issued to search Erik's computer and internet data, like emails and other messages, but the search turns up nothing. Without being able to physically talk to Erik, police turn their investigating more into Sage's background, to which they find more information regarding her previous relationships. One of these secret relationships was exposed when a man's girlfriend confronted Sage about emails she'd been sending her boyfriend.
Ooh.
This man blamed Sage for his girlfriend finding out about their relationship and attacked Sage one night. Charges were brought as a result of the assault, but when further investigation was done regarding the scorned ex-lover, he had an alibi. On December 3rd, police monitoring Sage's credit card got a hit. It had been used at a convenience store. So they went to grab the surveillance footage of the store, only to find not Sage, but Aubrey at the store during the time the card was used.
Twist!
Aubrey is then questioned about the use of the card, to which the reasoning behind the use of the card was to buy some food and that they shared the card.
I don't think so, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, my uncle wanted me to take his card to go get food. I'm like, what if they want to check my ID? What if something else happens? I don't want to get caught with that. No, it's not worth it.
No.
So
More likely it was stolen.
2 months went by without further developments until February of 2013, where another friend of Sage's said that she saw her the night that she went missing at the Wild Wing Cafe by the Amtrak station around 7 p.m. Authorities theorize that during this half hour between Kiara seeing Sage and the time when she was spotted at the Wild Wing Cafe, Sage could have very well already met with Erik and left him, which would put Erik in the clear. Management at the cafe were spoken to about the story. However, it couldn't be collaborated as they thought there were many other possible transgender individuals in the cafe, and they were unsure if Sage or this friend who had reported this interaction were amongst them. Additionally, when asked for security footage, the cafe didn't have any.
Convenient.
In May of 2013, investigators did contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, and uploaded Sage's dental records to the National Registry. Now, from here, the case really starts to go cold. And additionally, it seems to have been overshadowed by the disappearance of another young woman in Charlottesville, Virginia, one Hannah Graham. With thousands of people showing up to aid in searches for Hannah within 36 days, her body is found.
Oof.
Her story was national news and had thousands of media trucks showing up to document the case, whereas Sage's only had a few for media coverage. 3 years after Sage's disappearance, there was a candlelight vigil held to remember Sage and try to raise awareness for the 3rd anniversary. Friends, family, and community members were in attendance to support the investigation and to try to keep Sage's name in the spotlight. In 2015, police make an announcement regarding her case. Erik is no longer considered a suspect.
The fuck?
Erik is no longer considered a suspect as his digital footprint from the night Sage went missing doesn't line up with a person who would be involved with criminal activity. He was basically on and off his computer for the remainder of the evening, doing just basic things. He's not looking up how to hide a body or anything that would throw up red flags. Additionally, he personally does not have a car, and it's a very populated area. The idea that somebody would commit an abduction or murder would be hard, to say the least, without a car or something to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, okay. I still don't trust him.
In January of 2016, there was an apparent sighting of Sage at a beach in Virginia, as well as a report to police by Sharika, Sage's former roommate. Sharika notes how Aubrey started using Sage's credit card and other personal belongings after Sage went missing, which Sharika found very weird. Police
To say the least.
Police believe that Aubrey may have more information than what's being said. However, there's no evidence that ties her to Sage's disappearance. Additionally, that sighting at the beach is never collaborated.
Yeah, well, I'm still not jigging with the freaking using her shit. That's so wrong.
By December of 2016, police announced that Sage's case has been reclassified to a homicide investigation. Although there's no straightforward evidence leading investigators to believe that foul play was involved with Sage's disappearance, they are hoping that the reclassification being made may bring additional resources to the case.
No, that's a plus.
In March of 2017, Erik is once again considered a person of interest in the case.
Told ya.
However, they believe him to be more of a witness than an actual suspect. And on June 26th of 2019, Erik McFadden's mother reports him as a missing person and believes that he may possibly be deceased.
Whoa.
Now, there's a lot of outcry that the police department did not use all the resources that they could for Sage's case, and the ball was dropped from day one. It's believed that the pursuit of the community support regarding Sage's search and reward was not as well prepared as Hannah Graham's, nor did it get the same media attention due to discrimination. Now, Sage's case first came across my path during the Route 29 stalker research that I did years ago, which will be coming right back around to that.
Shit wagon.
And the Wikipedia page regarding the Route 29 stalker does have Sage's name listed in there. However, in my opinion, I don't believe that her case is completely related to the Route 29 stalker.
But you can't rule it out either.
But I cannot rule it out either.
Yeah.
Additionally, I could not find any further information on the status of Jamal, that individual who posted on Twitter that he's been disrespected beyond words after fighting with Sage and losing.
And losing. Ha! Lost to a girl. Oh, my bad.
And there's no status on him on the night of Sage's disappearance.
Yeah. There's a lot of hinky things with this story.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on. So we're going to go back real quick and we're going to go through the timeline just one more time.
Okay.
So between 6:08 and 6:27 p.m., Erik began sending Sage some messages. The first one around 6:08 p.m. says, "Where you at?" The next one at 6:12 p.m. says, "I'm standing here. Where are you?" Cell phone records indicate that Sage was on the phone with somebody at 6:18 p.m. And around 6:18 to 6:30 p.m., Sage's stepsister, Kiara, happens to see Sage walking to the bus stop. Kiara doesn't know who the individual was that Sage was speaking to on the phone, but she does recall her saying, "I'll be there in 5 minutes." Then at 6:27 p.m., Erik messages again with, "You stood me up. Bye." After that, she made her way to the 400th block of West Main Street in Charlottesville, Virginia. There, she spoke with a witness and mentioned that she was going to meet someone at the Amtrak station. Sage was last seen walking west towards the Amtrak station alone. Now, Sage could have possibly been spotted at the Wildman Cafe next to the Amtrak station around 7 p.m., but this account is still unconfirmed.
I don't know.
There's a lot going on.
I was going to say he could have been covering his tracks. He could have been 100% legit and said, "Hey, you stood me up, screw you." Mm-hmm. Personally, anybody that hides a alternate partner, should I say, or lover or girlfriend or whatever from their committed partner, lover, friend, I'm not going to trust them for just their word, because right there they're already saying, "I'm a liar." But that's me.
No, I completely get that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I also wonder about the group of people at the party that busted in, and yeah, there's a bunch in there. If somebody was disrespected or, got their ass handed to them by somebody else, there's a little means for retribution on that too.
Yeah, which I presume that they are looking into Jamal as well, but I'm not sure because I could not find anything regarding him after the incident. I'm like,
I'm just impressed. I was going to say, I'm impressed they didn't label her as a runaway, as they usually do. I'm like, come on. Once again, police dropping the ball. Not a big surprise.
No.
There are good ones out there, but God, they're getting overshadowed.
Yeah.
And the girl using her shit bugs me too. Mm-hmm. If you were supposed to be good friends, I just gotta go with probably would have never touched it and gave it back to the parents. I'm just bummed Dad didn't get a hold of anybody. I was kind of rooting for his ass.
I was kind of rooting for him too, but he got shut down. So we're going to give you a quick synopsis of Sage's profile. So Sage Smith, also known as Deshad Smith, is sexually male. They identify as female. Ethnicity is African American. Height is 5 foot 8 inches to 5 foot 11 inches tall. Weight is 130 pounds. Hair color is brown. However, she may have been wearing a red wig at the time of her disappearance. Eye color is brown. Last date of contact was November 20th of 2012. Missing from Charlottesville, Virginia. Age at disappearance was 19 years old, and the age today would be somewhere around 31 years old. Additional information is that she was last seen wearing a black jacket, dark gray sweatpants, a black scarf, gray and black rain boots with pink-purple linings. and possibly a bleached hooded sweatshirt. Her nipples are pierced, and so is her lip. The NamUs profile number is MP18608, and the NCMEC number is 1207898. Erik McFadden is sexually male. His ethnicity is African American and Caucasian. His height is 5 foot 10 inches to 6 foot 1 inch tall. His weight is somewhere between 180 to 190 pounds. His hair color is black. His eye color is brown. And the last date of contact was November 23rd of 2018. He is missing from Charlottesville, Virginia, and his age at his disappearance was 21 years old, and his age currently would be somewhere around 32 years old. Unfortunately, there's no additional information regarding clothing or items that may have went missing with Erik at the time of his disappearance. His NamUs profile number is MP58409. If you or anyone you know has any information regarding the disappearances of Sage Smith and Erik McFadden, you are asked to contact the Charlottesville Police Department at 434-970-3280. That number again is 434-970-3280. Or Crimestoppers at 434-977-4000. That number again is 434-977-4000. Thank you again for listening to Spattered. Please make sure to follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at Spattered Podcast and on X at Spattered Pod. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts from. If you're watching on YouTube, like this video, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to be notified when the show goes live or drops a video. As always, if you have a case request, any questions, or are interested in sponsoring the show, please email me at spatteredpodcast@gmail.com. Spattered is a true crime podcast hosted by Caitlin Gardner and Sarah Ray. The research and edits for this episode were done by Caitlin Gardner. All the music for the show was done by Lucio Cardenas. We'll see you next time. Stay safe out there. And remember, the truth is always in the blood.